would it look like if a computer won a Juno? That was the question, suddenly facing the Canadian Academy, which oversees the Junos, when this song surged up the Billboard Hot 100.
You could have had the world, yeah, you were my world. Got these girls on my neck, got these girls on my check.
Yes, that track sounds uncannily like two Canadian superstars, Drake and The Weeknd. But we now know the voices were faked, mimicked, using AI. Now, in case you're not a fan of either, here's real Drake.
21, can you do something for me? Can you talk to the ops next for me?
And here's fake Drake.
Metro made the beat, so you know that it's gonna slap.
Pretty convincing, right? And it's a pretty good song. It really forced the music industry to take a good, long, hard look at how we ought to recognize computer-aided creativity.
There's been some wildfire spreading. That would be this new song from an artist, from a creator by the name of Ghostwriter977, who has created a bit of controversy recently with the release of a song titled Heart on My Sleeve.
Its stunning explosion is only adding to anxiety inside the music industry as it confronts the dawn of the AI age.
Enter the Juno's new AI eligibility rules, meant to clarify how much AI is too much AI for a song to win an award. Look at it, all sparkly with its gold headers. Because, to quote the Academy's CEO, we want to make sure that we have humans being recognized. We can't be awarding an AI project a Juno. Except, I've read their new rules, and let me tell you, I'm struggling a bit to understand what the eligibility requirements actually are and how you even enforce the rules that are laid out. Because even a song like Heart on My Sleeve,
she know what she need, or she blessed, ay.
Where we know the singing is fake,
Got my heart on my sleeve with a knife in my back, what's with...
There's actually nothing in these new rules that disqualifies a song with fake singing from winning an award.
It's impossible. And this is only going to be the start of a very, very confusing time for the Junos and for the Grammy Awards.
Let me explain. So, the Junos have a direct answer to the question, how much AI is too much? Elements of AI can be used in eligible projects, but cannot be the sole or core component. Humans must be the primary creative contributors of the submitted work. Okay, so the next question is, how much AI was used to create Heart on My Sleeve? Well, listen again, starting with the beat, that piano riff. That beat is entirely reproducible, as YouTuber and producer Aidan Kenway showed on his channel. It's a fascinating video, you really should check it out, but basically the beat, the melody, the lyrics even, all human. The CEO of the Recording Academy in the United States, Harvey Mason Jr., apparently even met with the mystery artist, Ghostwriter977, who created Heart on My Sleeve, confirming that creatively, the process was human-driven. Even the singing, as Aidan Kenway demonstrates.
I came in with my ex like Selena to flex. Uploaded my vocals, ran it through the program, downloaded it, and that's gonna sound like this. I came in with my ex
like Selena to flex, ay. Bumping Justin Bieber, but a fever ain't left, ay.
Yeah, the only part we know of where AI comes into the picture is in making someone's voice sound like Drake and The Weeknd. It's kind of like those zany filters you can use to make your Insta pics look flawless, or, you know, that can turn you into, I don't know, a dog, or a horse. It's a little bit creepy. But, you know, whatever. This was an audio version of that, right? An audio filter powered by artificial intelligence trained on samples of Drake's voice to sound flawlessly like Drake. So you tell me, in this case, as per the Juno's rules on AI eligibility, was AI the primary creative contributor? Now, on the one hand, you might say, well, no. A human basically composed the whole piece. But on the other hand, we're talking about lead vocals here, where AI is responsible for the tone, the timbre, the color, the articulation, maybe even arguably the emotional expression of the rapping and singing, right?
All I know is you could have had the world, had the world.
Like, from a listener's point of view, who Drake and The Weeknd are as people is inextricably baked into the sonic quality of the music. Isn't that a pretty significant contribution? And how would you even measure that? Is it 50%, 20%, 80%? You know, the CEO of the Canadian Academy, Alan Reid, says the Junos would consider as potentially eligible a song that relied on fake AI vocals, but that otherwise was composed and produced by humans. But measuring how much AI is too much, until there's a formal judging criteria, it's just not a quantitatively measurable thing. And that murkiness around the rule is just one reason it's going to be very difficult to police.
We're going to have to, tiptoe through this entire AI minefield, and we don't have all the answers just yet. We don't know how it's going to be abided by. We don't know how it's going to be abused.
What makes this such a difficult issue to figure out is that there are all kinds of ways to use AI as a tool and not necessarily as a creative force. I mean, even spell check uses algorithms and large language models to correct errors. That's AI too.
You get an AI program to, for example, translate text to music, and there's a number of programs that do that. Is that a tool? Is that cheating? Is that just use of technology that's out there? I don't know.
So let's take it one step further. If I use ChatGPT to help me come up with a rhyme, so I don't know, let's type, hello, ChatGPT, I have a lyric. I'd like you to finish for me with a rhyme. And what should the lyric be? 30 minutes I took to write this script. Then what? Is that okay? Or, what if I use AI to clean up the audio on a song that I've written?
The way that the AI works is it takes your song and references it with some of the many tracks in its repertoire and tries to get you a clearer, warmer, or brighter balanced mix.
Or maybe AI suggests a different chord progression.
Let's add our first instrument. I'm going to choose the piano preset for now, but we can change this later. WavTool has created an empty clip for us, and Composer already has some suggestions. Let's mouse over them to take a listen.
Or you know what? AI could actually just write a little melody snippet for me, and then I'll take that and turn that into a bigger song.
Today, let's take a look at the Orb Producer Suite. It's a series of plugins to generate an infinite amount of patterns, melodies, and bass lines.
Or maybe AI can just make me sound like a whole other person.
Bumping Justin Bieber, the fever had left me.
What's okay, what's not? Right now, when you submit a song for consideration at the Junos, there's nothing on the form that asks directly if AI technology was used. That's according to Liz Morgant, Senior Manager of the Academy's operations. And even if there was such a question, what are you going to answer?
There are right now songs that are in the Billboard Hot 100 that were used almost entirely through AI except for the human voice, which, to make matters worse, you've got producers fixing up all of the mistakes and the tweaks and making the singer sound that much better. So there might not be an easy line to kind of draw in the sand when it comes to the human authorship.
So here's the funny thing. Hard on My Sleeve, the fake Drake and The Weeknd track, it's actually not eligible for a Juno in the end. But not because of AI. It's because the mystery producer behind it, Ghostwriter 977, is apparently American. That's what disqualifies the song, not its use of AI. Now, the singers he mimics are Canadian, but that doesn't make the song any more Canadian than, me wearing cowboy hat makes me a Texan. So, the Academy's own AI rules do not give us a clear answer on maybe the most high-profile AI song on the planet.
Who knows? Maybe they'll actually end up with a artificial intelligence Juno Award for those songs that are being created by Canadians, but use entirely AI technology.
Now, to be fair, the rules aren't meant to solve the problem today. The Academy CEO is the first to admit that this will be, quote, very much a learning year for us, with the rules just serving as a baseline to work from. But boy, cracking that, drawing lines in the music between man and machine, and then policing them?
The last thing that Keras wants is to have a song submitted, nominated, and then win in a category, only for things to turn out that it was made by a robot. That's not going to go over well with the general public.
It's not going to be easy.